that we realized how wonderful an actress she was. And probably not until she passed away did we realize to what an extent she had actually touched people.
Audrey Hepburn is a symbol of elegance. Despite being known for its glamorous images in Pearl and coffee sessions outside Tiffany, Hepburn's life is not as perfect as its appearance. Recently, her son has revealed deep truths and emotions about Audrey's life, clarifying the aspects that are often forgotten. Did these secrets reveal her life or personal personality? Please explore. But first, learn a little about her childhood background and situation to have the most overview. The first years of Audrey Hepburn's life were experienced among the privileges and deep pain. Born on May 4, 1929, in Brussels, Belgium, she had a joyful childhood by traveling throughout Europe, studying 6 languages, and living a life that many people considered a privilege. However, this perfect appearance conceals a heartbreaking truth. When Audrey was only 6 years old, her father, Joseph Victor Anthony Rustin, abandoned her and her mother, leaving a mental scar that she would carry all her life. "It was one of the biggest injuries of my life," Audrey once said. This loss has left a deep impact on her soul, which her son, Sean, confirmed. Despite becoming a famous and successful symbol, this pain still follows her and shapes many aspects of life. In 1964, many decades after her father left, Audrey Hepburn decided to find him and finally met in Dublin, Ireland. Although they reunited, this meeting never led to a discussion about the reason he left his family. The pain in Audrey's heart was so great that this reunion could not reduce the damage that she had suffered during the years. Her son, Sean Ferrer, once shared that his mother never really overcame his father's loss. Psychological injury from childhood has left a long-term impact, affecting her personal and career life, although she has achieved global popularity. Besides personal losses, Audrey survived the harsh crisis of World War II. When the war broke out in 1939, she was only 10 years old and lived with her mother in the Netherlands. The Nazi invasion created a difficult and dangerous atmosphere. Her family faced serious food shortages, leading to malnutrition. Audrey. The slender shape of Audrey Hepburn is often admired, but it is a reminder of the hunger that she experienced in hunger in the Netherlands. Her son, Luca Dati, revealed the painful details of his mother's survival life. During hunger, Audrey had to eat anything that could be found, from ghost trees to tulips, just to survive. With a height of nearly 1.68 m, she weighs only about 40 kilograms, 88 pounds, a dangerous weight to health. Finally, after the war ended, her health was seriously affected, leading to anemia and long-term health problems. Luca recalled that at the end of the war, her mother was almost near death. Despite these difficulties, Audrey often reflects on the war period, compared to the fate of others who do not survive. She always felt lucky because she was still alive, especially when she remembered Anne Frank, her peers that she always felt heartbroken when mentioning. The pain of the war has strongly influenced her life, not only in her personal life, but also in humanitarian work later. This harsh experience urged Audrey to participate in humanitarian activities, especially with UNICEF, where she spent years later helping those who were hungry and miserable, the people she used to be like. They were in the past. Before becoming an illustrious movie star, Audrey Hepburn once raised her dream of becoming a ballet actress. Dance is her great passion, and she has a natural talent to pursue this field. Even in the dark days of World War II, Audrey still takes advantage of his ballet skills to secretly participate in performances, raising money for the resistance war in the Netherlands. These performances often take place in the dark and quiet, but they show her dedication to both art and homeland. After the war ended, Audrey moved to London and won a scholarship at the famous Marie Rambert Ballet School. However, the reality is not as she dreams. Despite hard training and passion for dance, she was thought to not need and body suitable to become a professional ballet actress. Audrey admitted that she could not meet the technical requirements of her peers, partly because of her height and her larger legs, which made it difficult to shine in the field of ballet dance. Despite the pain from the refusal of the dream of becoming a professional ballet dancer, the love for the dance of Audrey Hepburn never faded. She continued to participate in ballet classes to preserve her skills, even after taking the lead role in the musical Gigi on the Broadway stage. Passion and elegance in motion have become an integral part of her charm, both on the big screen and in life. Her dancing skill has also contributed to memorable performances in films like Roman Holiday and Funny Face, where Audrey's charm is honored through each step. Finally, despite having to give up her dream of becoming a ballet dancer, this loss opened new opportunities for her in Hollywood, where the talent and beauty of Audrey turned her into a symbol. She is remembered as one of the most beautiful women of all time, with the immortal image from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's to romantic moments in Rome. The slender silhouette, pixie hairstyle, and dark eyebrows have become an irregular symbol in the public culture. However, despite being honored in appearance, Audrey never feels really beautiful. She always keeps her humility and sometimes feels inferior in her appearance. Audrey Hepburn's son claims that she frequently has feelings of insecurity over her beauty. It is common for her to be critical of herself for physical flaws such as her large nose and legs, as well as the fact that her physique is too thin. Even though the rest of the world perceives her as a timeless beauty, she considers them to be flaws in her appearance. On the other hand, as time went on, Audrey progressively felt more at ease with his physical appearance. The natural changes that come with aging, such as wrinkles and gray hair, are something that she is okay with. Audrey recognizes the value in growing older, in contrast to the majority of individuals in Hollywood who want to maintain their youthful appearance at any cost. According to Luke, her son, her mother expressed that she was pleased with her maturity since it meant that she would have more time to spend with her family. The idea that there is a season for everything in life, including becoming older, is something that Audrey holds dear. For her, becoming older is not anything to be afraid of. Rather, it is a normal part of life. In her remarks, she underlined that now is the moment to concentrate on the most essential things, such as love, family, and commitment to society. Audrey's personal life is equally difficult and depressing, which is related to the fact that she has a family. The beginning of her love story is not comprised of romantic events. Rather, it is molded by suffering. When Audrey was just 6 years old, her father, Joseph Rustin, abandoned her and her mother. This was the most painful event that Audrey ever had. It was the beginning of her life. Even though Audrey never truly recovered from this emotional shock, she referred to it as one of the most significant injuries she has ever sustained in her life. The traumatic event that she went through has left her yearning for a steady relationship and affection throughout her entire life. A decade later, in 1964, Audrey Hepburn chose his father's footsteps in the hope of exploring the path of rehabilitation and seeking a connection with the family heritage. Even though they had a chance to reunite in Dublin, Ireland, this meeting never led to the fact that they talked about his family. Sean Ferrer, the son of Audrey, then revealed that she never really healed from her father's loss. A melancholy still existed with her throughout her life. This pain not only affects her mood, but is also reflected in her relationships and choices in her love. This emotional area has a significant impact on the actions and relationships of Audrey, making her often attracted by men who can give her the stability that she desires. She experienced passionate but equally painful love affairs, from lightning love to deep but complicated relationships. Her first interview with James Hansen, a prominent character in the entertainment industry, took place in 1952 and marked the beginning of a fairy tale. Audrey referred to this love as love at first sight, but when she realized that the careers of both of them would keep them apart, she decided to call off the engagement. She became renowned for saying, "When I got married, I want to get married." The fact that she has made up her mind to put the significance of lasting connections ahead of fleeting love is something that has become a defining characteristic of her life. Under no circumstances did she fail to acknowledge her want for a profound and devoted romantic partnership. Not long after that, Audrey Hepburn had the opportunity to meet actor Mel Ferrer at a party organized by Gregory Peck. The connection between them quickly became deep, and in 1954 they officially knotted marriage. The couple not only shared their personal lives, but also appeared in some films, helping to strengthen their career. Audrey became increasingly mature and became a prominent figure in the film industry, with talent and typical style that made her an immortal symbol of Hollywood. In 1960, they became parents to a boy for the first time, Sean, but their joy was sometimes clouded by gossip. Ferrer was given the nickname Svengali by Audrey because of the allegations that he exercised an inordinate amount of control over her. Although Audrey has denied receiving these charges, the tension in their marriage continues to rise. Friends who are particularly close to them believe that Ferrer is exercising an iron grip over Audrey. After 14 years of living together, Audrey ultimately divorced in 1968 due to rumors of constant control, which coincided with her growing dissatisfaction with her relationship. Although their marriage is fraught with many difficult experiences, the bond between them continues to bring Audrey happiness and a sense of purpose, particularly in the position of a mother with Sean. Following the conclusion of her marriage to Ferrer, Audrey found herself on a trip to the Mediterranean with her close companions. While she was on this journey, she had the opportunity to meet Andrea Dotti, a psychiatrist from Italy. It didn't take long for their relationship to blossom, and by 1969, they were already living together as husband and wife. Audrey had great aspirations for a fresh start, one that would allow her to have more children and maybe even take a vacation from her demanding work. She was looking forward to this new beginning. In 1970, Audrey Hepburn and her husband, Andrea Dotti, became a second parent when their son, Luke, sometimes called Luke, was born. Luke's birth brought Audrey happiness and love to be a mother again, what she had experienced when raising her first son, Sean Ferrer. Although raising two sons is a great source of encouragement, Audrey's journey is not always easy. She has faced many challenges, including the balance between her busy acting career and family responsibility, as well as difficulties in her personal life. Audrey always wants to ensure that both Sean and Luca have a warm and loving environment to grow. Although she has spent a lot of time and love for her children, the influence of previous marriages and the pressure from her popularity has created significant difficulties. Moreover, although she feels happy in her life, Audrey still cannot avoid the anxiety and pressure from her mother, especially when she realizes that life is not just about joy. Also, the sacrifices and challenges that she faces. During the years of being a mother, Audrey not only raised their children, but also used their love and experience to guide them to develop into good adult men. Before Luca, Audrey had several painful miscarriages. One of her biggest losses occurred in 1959 when she was busy with filming the movie The Unforgiven. This event left her with deep sadness and affected her emotions about being a mother. Despite facing the losses, Audrey is still resilient and continues to seek happiness in the family. She considered raising children as one of the most important things in her life, and Luke, along with Sean, became a great source of motivation for her in the following years. As a result of each of her miscarriages, she went through a painful experience, and as a consequence, she endured a tremendous lot of suffering. The fact that she has said in the past that my miscarriages were the most traumatic experiences I have ever had, even more so than the divorce of my parents and the leaving of my father when I was a child, is something that she has admitted in the past. Despite the difficulties she encountered, she decided to keep her optimism, and the birth of Luca was a big victory for her. Her happiness, on the other hand, did not continue for a very long time. When she married Dottie, the strains of stardom and the physical distance between them began to affect their relationship. This led to the partnership being more difficult. During the period that Audrey was away filming, Dottie allegedly spent time with younger women, which ultimately led to her becoming unfaithful to Audrey. The betrayal has made the marriage of Audrey Hepburn and Andrea Dottie worse, eventually leading to divorce in 1982. Their marriage endured a lot of pressure from outside relationships, which things deeply hurt Audrey. Despite his sadness and disappointment, Audrey decided to stay in Italy after the divorce from Luke, her son, and could maintain his relationship with his father. This decision was made with the desire to ensure that Luca could develop in a stable family environment. Although Dottie had almost no effort to visit her child, this was later granted by the oldest son of Audrey, Sean. The consequence of this is that Audrey has to raise 2 children alone, Sean and Luca. The time she spent on parenting after the divorce was considered the most beautiful years of her life. Under the care and love of her mother, Audrey's children grew up in an emotional space, and she also found great joy in her mother, which helped her recover her spirit after the following. Past lesions. Audrey always considers her family as the most important thing in her life, and the time to raise her children has helped her create valuable memories and deeply connected with them. She had been looking for peace and contentment for a very long time, and the last connection that Audrey made with the Dutch actor Robert Wolders provided her with the calm and pleasure that she had been looking for. Every one of her past marriages had ended tragically. Even though they never tied the knot, Audrey considered the years that they had spent together to be the happiest of her whole life. This was the case, even though they had never been married. She did refer to them as married on several occasions, although they did not have any divorce documents in their possession. When Audrey was in a relationship with her current boyfriend, she had a sense of peace and safety that she had not experienced in any of her prior relationships. There was a feeling of security in her life that was provided by Wolders, who was the widower of actress Merle Oberon. The fact that Audrey's children, Sean and Luca, were also a substantial influence on her sense of fulfillment throughout these years is something that she has acknowledged. Even while the grief was always present, the love and bonding that she established with her children helped to lessen the suffering that she suffered as a result of her past miscarriages. When Audrey Hepburn was in her latter years, she was able to successfully integrate her employment, her love for her children, and her work in the humanitarian sector. This exemplified the bravery and tenacity that had characterized her path, the final days of her life, and the love that brought her peace. When Audrey Hepburn was in the company of fellow Dutch actor Robert Wolders, she was able to identify the source of her actual joy. This discovery occurred during the final 10 years of her life. Although they were never officially married, she considered the time they spent together to be a marriage of the heart. This was although they had never been married. 1989 was the year when she reflected on the 9 years that she had spent with Wolders, and she referred to those years as the best years of her life. Because they were connected, she was able to experience the sense of tranquility and security that she had been searching for a very long time. It has been claimed that Sean, her son, stated that his mother had at long last found someone who gave her the freedom to be herself, without the restraints of stardom or perfection coming into play. Even though Audrey appeared to have reached a state of tranquility, her health suddenly took a turn for the worst. In the latter part of 1992, she returned from a humanitarian mission to Somalia, and shortly thereafter, she started having acute stomach discomfort. Because the medical examinations she underwent in Switzerland did not yield definitive results, she decided to go to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. A catastrophic diagnosis of pseudomyxoma peritoneae, an extremely uncommon kind of abdominal cancer, was discovered by the medical professionals at that location. Over several years, the disease had slowly progressed, leaving Audrey with little chance for a recovery. Even though she underwent surgery and began chemotherapy, the cancer had already progressed to an untreatable stage. Nevertheless, Audrey continued to retain her gracefulness even in the face of the gloomy diagnosis. During an interview, Robert Wolders said that she did not have any fear of passing away. It was just the pain that she was terrified of. Audrey Hepburn always maintains her nature. Even if her health is not good, she still maintained attention to those around them, especially the work she treasured at UNICEF. This shows her relentless dedication to humanitarian aid. In 1992, Audrey was honored with the Free Medal of the U.S. President, a Nobel award to recognize her contributions to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. She worked tirelessly to raise awareness and support children in areas where difficulties around the world. Her partner, Robert Wolders, was the one who always accompanied her until she died in 1993. In the last years of life, Audrey no longer worked at the studio in Hollywood, but moved to the ambassador for UNICEF, where she could focus on humanitarian activities in a quiet environment. Previously, she had gone through a difficult time in Europe in the context of the war, but now, with her popularity and compassion, she used those things to create positive effects to the lives of many children. She spent her last Christmas at home in Switzerland, with the wish that she could go through a peaceful holiday season. Although her health continued to worsen, her spirit was still optimistic, expressed through the desire to live a meaningful life, blessing those around them before leaving in peace. However, due to her frail state, it was difficult for her to fly on commercial planes. It was at that moment that her close friend, the fashion designer Hubert de Givenchy, intervened. To whisk Audrey away from Los Angeles and back to her residence in Tolochenaz, Switzerland, he made arrangements for a private plane to be loaded with flowers. She could enjoy Christmas in the coziness of her own home, since she was surrounded by her loved ones, including her sons, Robert Wolders, and close friends. After some time had passed, Audrey referred to it as the most beautiful Christmas I ever had, describing it as a moment of joy in the middle of her fight against illness. Audrey's condition deteriorated after the holidays, and she was forced to remain restricted to bed rest. She would, however, occasionally go for brief walks in her garden when she felt that she had the strength to do so. When Audrey Hepburn died on January 20th, 1993, at the age of 63, she left a heritage far beyond her popularity in Hollywood. Her departure is very gentle. She goes away in sleep, which makes her lovers feel relieved. The small church in Tolochenaz, Switzerland, where she lived in the last years of her life, became a funeral venue for her. The ceremony was a simple but sincere event, reflecting her humble life. At the funeral, not only the sons of Audrey, Sean Ferrer and Luca Dotti, but also the presence of her partner, Robert Wolders, along with her ex-husbands, Mel Ferrer and Andrea Dotti. the presence of close friends like Gregory Peck and the famous designer Hubert de Givenchy also highlighted the friendship and respect they have for Audrey. Peck, who had been a close friend of Audrey ever since the two of them appeared in Roman Holiday together, paid homage to her by delivering the poem Unending Love by Rabindranath Tagore. A woman whose life had been characterized by love, generosity, and elegance was honored with a heartfelt homage during this event. Flowers came pouring in from all over the world, including those from Elizabeth Taylor and even the royal family of the Netherlands. This was a clear indication of how profoundly Audrey had impacted the lives of so many people. After his death, Audrey Hepburn was awarded the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award at the 1993 Academy Award, a noble honor to honor individuals who contributed greatly to humanitarian. The special thing is that this award was given to her after she left the world, emphasizing her influence in this field. The movie Always, directed by Steven Spielberg, brought Audrey a last role in which she played an angel. This character reflects the spirit of Audrey, a woman who has a life filled with kindness, who has used her reputation and influence to inspire others. In connection with this, Sean Hepburn Ferrer, the son of Audrey Hepburn, has a distinctive viewpoint on the legacy that his mother has left behind, the heritage that is seen through the eyes of her son. In an interview that took place not too long ago, he discussed her hardships and how she may have adapted to modern society differently. Sean believes that if Audrey were still living today, she would have been an ideal candidate for social media platforms such as Instagram. Audrey was one of the women that was photographed throughout history. In Sean's words, she was the most photographed person on Instagram, making her the undisputed king of the social media platform. Audrey's elegance and charm were not just based on her physical appearance. Rather, they were inspired by the way she made other people feel. She would often say, "It's the tune, not the words," which means that how you portray yourself is more important than what you say. She was able to connect with people, which made her approachable, not just to her admirers, but also to everyone else she came in contact with. In the present day, Sean Adati, along with his half-brother Luke Adati, is in charge of Audrey's public image. Because they are the owners of the rights to her likeness, it is their responsibility to ensure that it is utilized respectfully. Regularly, Sean comes across vintage photographs of his mother and is impressed by the amount of attention that goes into capturing her appearance. On the other hand, he believes that the most significant aspect of Audrey's legacy is not only her stardom, but also her humanity. He wants people to see the real Audrey, the lady who endured the horrors of war, who triumphed over profound personal suffering, and who yet managed to find the fortitude to aid others via her work in the humanitarian sector. She is the girl from across the landing who wears a tiny black dress, and she is a delightful bundle of defects, as Sean mentioned. She is always wearing a little black dress. She was able to connect with people because of her flaws, and this is what continues to enchant people even in modern times. Little Audrey's Daydream, a children's book that Sean co-authored, is another way that Sean has contributed to the dissemination of Audrey's narrative to younger generations. It is during her youth, during World War II, that the narrative begins. During that time, Audrey was compelled to remain in bed to preserve energy due to the lack of food that was available. It continues during her legendary career and culminates with her volunteering for charitable organizations as an adult. Sean added that the objective is to motivate youngsters by introducing them to Audrey's tenacity, her resolve, and her capacity to discover beauty even in the face of the most difficult circumstances in life. Despite the beauty, there are struggles. The majority of people were unaware of the challenges that Audrey Hepburn had throughout her life, even though she is always known for her grace and elegance. The struggle that Sean's mother had with miscarriages was shown to be one of the most difficult things that she had ever experienced. Audrey had a strong desire to have children, but she was unable to have any of them since she experienced many miscarriages, one of which occurred while she was close to term. According to Sean, Audrey frequently discussed the anguish she felt as a result of such losses, stating that they were more challenging for her to deal with than anything else, even more so than the divorce of her parents or the departure of her father. These experiences had a profound impact on her, but they also strengthened the connection that Audrey and Sean had with one another. He thinks that the moment she became a mother was not only the fulfillment of her wish to become a mother when she eventually had him, it was a means by which she might recover from the anguish caused by those losses. However, all of Audrey's difficulties did not end there. She spent her childhood in the Netherlands, which was controlled by Nazi troops during World War II. She endured starvation and dread as a result of this occupation. During those moments, Sean recalled the things that his mother had told him about. For the duration of the severe winters, Audrey's mother kept her in bed so that she could preserve energy. Audrey's lifelong dedication to humanitarian work, particularly with UNICEF, was molded by the experiences she had during those years. Her childhood experiences of starvation and misery provided her with a profound comprehension of the anguish that others go through. She devoted her later years to relentlessly striving to assist children who were in need all over the world. Audrey continued to struggle with her issues, although she used her time and energy to help other people. Towards the end of her life, she was informed that she had a kind of cancer that was extremely uncommon. Even though she had been given such a prognosis, Audrey continued to be kind to others, guaranteeing that her legacy of compassion and kindness would endure long after she had passed away. The discoveries made by Sean provide us with a glimpse of the real Audrey Hepburn, a lady whose elegance was not only a surface-level characteristic, but rather something that was deeply founded in her capacity to bear adversity and give love in return. In what ways do you believe Audrey Hepburn's life continues to inspire others in the present day? And what are your thoughts on her legacy specifically? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.